Hello, agribusiness explorers and curious people. Welcome to our channel. Today, we're embarking on a journey through one of the most iconic and challenging landscapes on the planet, Australia. But we're not here just to admire the view. We're here to uncover the secrets of an industry that clothes and feeds the world. Have you ever wondered how a continent known for its deserts and harsh climate manages to be home to over 71 million sheep? And how it dominates the global market, exporting the highest quality wool and lamb meat to the most discerning tables? The answer is a fascinating combination of history, biology, technology, and above all, the resilience of the Australian people. Get ready, because we're going to show you in detail how Australia raises its 71.9 million sheep. Here's how. To understand the present, we need to go back in time. The history of modern Australia is inextricably linked to sheep. When the first settlers arrived, they brought with them sheep that did not adapt well. Success only came with the introduction of a specific breed, one that would change the destiny of the nation forever: the Merino sheep. Originating in Spain, the Merino was prized for its incredibly fine, soft wool. In the vast and then empty Australian territory, this breed found the perfect environment to thrive. Herds multiplied, and Australia rode on the sheep's back to prosperity. Wool became the golden fleece, the country's main export, funding its development and shaping its identity. Today, this legacy continues. Of the 71.9 million sheep, around 75% are either Merinos or have a strong influence from the breed. This brings us to the first pillar of Australian success: genetic specialization. Australia doesn't treat all sheep the same. There's a meticulous science behind breeding, focused on two distinct markets: wool and meat. First, the royalty of wool, the Merino. The goal here is one, to produce the largest quantity of the finest wool possible per animal. Wool fineness is measured in microns. To give you an idea, a human hair is around 60 to 80 microns. The wool of a high-quality Merino can be as fine as 17 microns. It is this superfine fiber that is coveted by luxury brands in Italy and around the world to make high-end suits and clothing. Breeders use advanced genetic data, called Australian Breeding Values, ASBVS, to select breeding stock that will pass on traits such as fineness, lock length, and fleece weight. But what about meat? The global market for lamb and mutton is huge, and Australia is the world's largest exporter. Here, other breeds come into play, known as prime lamb breeds. Breeds such as Port Dorset, Suffolk from Dorfer, which is of South African origin and extremely resistant to dry climates. These sheep are bred to grow quickly, have excellent carcass conformation and tender, tasty meat. Many producers use an industrial crossbreeding system. They cross a beef ram with a Merino ewe. The result? A lamb that inherits the resilience of the Merino mother and the meat qualities of the father. It's the best of both worlds, a strategy that maximizes efficiency and profit. Forget the image of a small farm with a few dozen sheep. In Australia, we are talking about stations, rural properties that are larger than some small countries. Properties of 20,000, 50,000, or even more than 100,000 hectares are common. In these environments, sheep live extensively, grazing freely across huge areas. Managing herds of thousands of animals across such vast territories is an immense logistical challenge. The life of a grazier or sheep farmer is hard and lonely. Days begin before sunrise and are filled with tasks such as checking water troughs, a critical task in a dry country, patrolling miles of fences to ensure there are no breaches, and monitoring the health of the flock. And they don't do it alone. Their most valuable partners are herding dogs. Breeds like the Australian Kelpie and the Border Collie are incredibly intelligent and essential for rounding up and moving thousands of sheep. The work of a good sheepdog is worth several men on foot. Once a year comes the most iconic moment in Australian sheep farming: the shearing. The shearing sheds come to life. This is no amateur job. Shearers are elite athletes. It is a physically demanding job, requiring strength, endurance, and incredible skill to manage the sheep and remove the fleece in one piece without hurting the animal. A professional shearer can shear over 200 sheep in an 8-hour day. But the work doesn't stop there. Once the fleece is off the sheep, it is taken to the grading table by a rouseabout. There, the highly trained wool sorter goes to work. He analyzes the wool, removes the lower quality parts from the belly and legs, and grades the main fleece based on its quality, color, strength, and, of course, fineness. Each bale of pressed wool that leaves the farm is stamped with a label that describes exactly what type of wool it contains. This rigorous grading on the farm itself is one of the secrets to the reputation of Australian wool. It ensures that the buyer, whether in China or Europe, knows exactly what they are buying, generating trust and value. With the bales of wool and the lambs ready, the journey to the global market begins. Wool is sent to sell centers, where samples are displayed for international buyers. Most of the wool is sold at auction, a transparent and competitive system. Today, more than 80% of Australian wool has one main destination: China, which turns it into fabric for the domestic market and for re-export. The meat, in turn, follows a strict cold chain. The lambs are processed in modern facilities that follow the highest standards of food safety and animal welfare. A large proportion of the meat is certified as halal to meat, strong demand from Middle Eastern markets. The United States and China are also major importers of succulent Australian lamb meat. This export engine is vital to the country's economy, generating billions of dollars every year and supporting thousands of jobs, from farms to ports. But don't think that everything is easy. The Australian creator faces monumental challenges. The climate is the main enemy. Prolonged droughts can devastate pastures, forcing producers to sell their livestock or spend fortunes on feed. On the other hand, floods and forest fires can destroy everything in a matter of hours. In addition to the climate, there is pressure from predators such as wild dogs, dingoes, and foxes, and the constant fluctuation of prices on the global market. The industry is investing heavily in technology. Electronic identification tags on each sheep allow individual monitoring of health and weight gain. Drones are used to inspect fences and water troughs in remote areas. Genomics is accelerating genetic improvement to create sheep that are more resistant to parasites and more efficient at converting feed. There is also a growing focus on sustainability and animal welfare. Regenerative pasture management practices are being adopted to improve soil health, and the industry is working to find alternatives to controversial practices such as mulesing by developing sheep that are naturally more resistant to parasites. And so the circle is complete. Farming 71.9 million sheep in Australia is much more than just a business. It is a tapestry woven with threads of history, cutting-edge science, hard work, and a deep connection to the land. It is the story of the farmer who looks to the sky for rain clouds, the sheepdog who works tirelessly, the shearer whose sweat mixes with the wool, and the scientist who searches for the next genetic breakthrough. This is how a nation in one of the world's most arid lands became a superpower, clothing the world in the finest wool and feeding it with its high-quality meat. Proof that with resilience and the right strategy, it is possible to turn challenges into global triumph. What impressed you most about this journey into Australian sheep farming? Leave your comment below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more fascinating agribusiness stories from around the world, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. See you next time.